Of the party's federal council. The position is the second most powerful in the party, after that of the federal leader. Now, Zille will face off with three other candidates. They are the former Nelson Mandela Metro Mayor Athol Trollip and members of the National Assembly Mike Waters and Thomas Walters. The election will take place towards the end of this month at the much-awaited federal council meeting. Now, Zille caused quite a stir when she put forward her name, and it was done with less than 24 hours before the deadline for submissions. SABC reporter Manelisi Dubase caught up with her.
I was really enjoying my retirement until yesterday when I seriously started considering this. And then this morning, after a long discussion with my husband, I decided to put my hat in the ring.
What's your vision, Helen, moving forward in this party?
Well, my vision, if I get elected, is to support the leadership, making sure we're well prepared for 2021. That is the major, major challenge. And we have to make sure that we get the party on track to go and grow again.
Talking about supporting the leadership, I remember during some of your tweets that the party has always distanced itself from your tweets. Do you think you'll see eye to eye this time around?
Not always, Manelisi. I do lots of tweets, and maybe one or two we had a difference of opinion on. But the fact of the matter is there will always be slight differences of opinion in a democratic organization, and we believe in freedom of speech. And so I've remained a very loyal, very dedicated member of the DA. And I was elected as chair of the Bloberg branch, and that's where I thought I would happily stay retired. And let's see if I get elected or not. Who knows?
Surely the party has been going through difficult times of late. I mean, you have lost quite a number of seats in the National Assembly, and we have been losing some by-elections. So what change can you bring to turn around the situation?
Well, we must always understand what every position actually entails. Now, the chair of the Federal Council is a very important position currently. I don't know whether it will change with the review, but currently it's a very important position in which all the threads come together of the systems, the structures, the processes within the Democratic Alliance. And if those are managed really well and everything held together, it helps the leadership drive the party forward. And it is that support role that I'm interested in.
I must say that surely with your experience, Helen, I mean, you have been there, you have seen it all. I mean, you have taken the DA to another level. I mean, really, in your view, when you introspect, I mean, what has gone wrong in the DA of late?
Parties go through ups and downs. They have consolidation periods, they have setback periods, they have periods of going forward. And the critical thing is that we introspect and learn from those lessons. And I would very, very much like to help the party get its wheels revved up again and moving forward.
Has it lost its liberal values?
No, I certainly don't think it has. And I think there's also a false dichotomy between diversity and liberalism. Liberals believe in diversity very strongly, and they want inclusion. So people are trying to make this false split between liberals and people who are supporting diversity have really got the cat by the tail, because it doesn't work in that way at all. All liberals support inclusion and support diversity.
I mean, the local government around the corner, I mean, it's 2020, 2021, I think we'll be going for the local government election. Do you think you have enough time, if you can be elected, that is, to turn around, at least to change things for the better?
If I am elected, I will give it my very best shot. I will work day and night. I will stick to my job description. I don't have to be the bride at every wedding or the corpse at every funeral. I'm very happy to stick to my job description and to do what is required of me, whether in a leadership position or a background position. I will fulfill that role.
How's your relationship with Mmusi Maimane?
It is cordial and decent.
Mm-hmm. Can you work together? Can you, if in case you are elected and he win the election again as a party leader, do you think you'll be able to work together to take this party to another level?
In my life, I've experienced very few people that I can't work with. Some people don't want to work with me, that's fine. But I've always done my very best to work with the people that I'm together with, and I think my record attests to that. In the city, holding together a coalition of 7 widely divergent parties, and then a very united team in the province when we got an overall majority. So that was my experience, and I can work with most people. I don't have to like people to work well with them. I just have to respect them and share their vision.
Right, for the very latest on the plan returned by Helen Zille, we cross now live to Tumelo Machogo, who is with the DA Leader Mmusi Maimane in Bethal, Mpumalanga. Tumelo, a very good morning to you. So as we just heard from that clip, when Manelisi Dubase was actually interacting with Helen Zille, she actually said that the relationship that she currently has with Mmusi Maimane is cordial and decent. Has Mr. Maimane reacted to this latest development with regards to Hellen Zille possibly returning to the top echelons of the DA?
Well, Blaine, Mmusi has been doing door-to-door campaign here in Bethal. You remember that this Ward 28 is going into the by-election on Wednesday. So he's been interacting with the community here and also interacting with members of the DA because they want to garner those votes for Wednesday. But also, obviously, the case of Hellen Zille has also come up because it's the latest news that we've got from Hellen Zille saying that she intends on running for the federal executive chair position. But let's speak to Mmusi Maimane to get his reaction about Mrs. Zille's return to the party. Mr. Maimane, thank you for joining us. Just talk to us about how do you guys feel about Hellen Zille returning to the party, and also how are you guys going to work together, because she says that you guys have a cordial relationship.
Well, first and foremost, we have 4 candidates standing for opposition. My job is not to pronounce on any of the candidatures. The delegates of the DA voted for Mmusi Maimane because they wanted a South Africa for all. They wanted a party that will ensure it delivers basic services. They wanted a party that will ensure that when we're in government, we change the material well-being of the people, and that black people, white people, Indian people, colored people can work together to build a future. And so I came here today even to meet South Africans such as this one. That is the focus. And I think ultimately we want a candidate who will win, who will make sure they advance that vision. That's what is important. Not the who, the vision of the DA is the most important. And the majority of the people in the DA see that vision, they want to work towards it, and therefore we are focused on that.
But Mmusi, let's just say if Hellen Zille do run and eventually wins, how is the relationship between the two of you guys going to go forward, working together?
It's not for me to pronounce what happens after she's won. We can have a conversation then. At this point in time, there are 4 candidates who are standing. Let's give them all an equal opportunity to participate without pronouncing that this is going to happen after this one has won or that one has won. It would be unfair. Let us allow all of them to campaign so that we have a good Congress, a good Federal Council, and focus on the future. That's all. Delegates will respond to all of those issues because they have to express their vote. So let's not pronounce the outcomes today. The nominations closed yesterday. Let's focus on what this party is supposed to do. And besides, I think that's a side issue more than anything. The bigger issues in this country is the fact that when you come here, people are unemployed. People are simply still suffering. And so for me, I was elected at a DA Congress to execute certain objectives and resolutions of Congress. That's all I'm doing.
But you're not really answering the question. Well, I'm saying if she wins, how is the relationship going to go forward? How are you guys going to work together if she wins? Let's say the other candidates don't win. She wins the candidates and she becomes the chairperson. She's pretty much returning. And then how would you feel about that and working with her?
She has the right to stand. The Congress will decide. The Council will decide. And then we will pronounce on that. Because our focus is on other issues. We have a government to run. So I'm not here to pronounce on that. I haven't spoken to Hellen Zille. She was in the Institute of Race Relations. So for me to pronounce today on what will happen if she wins, if she doesn't win, what happens if she doesn't win? I think we must focus on the real issues. And so I'm not worried about that. I really am not worried. I'm focused on the future of the organization. And whatever happens in the outcomes, we'll deal with them when the outcomes are pronounced.
So you're not worried about working with Hellen Zille, that's what you say?
I'm not worried about, I have 4 candidates who are coming. Let them contest. Let them contest. I can't sit here and say, well, if this one wins, this is what's going to happen. That will influence the results up front. No, I'm a Democrat. I respect the outcomes of the people. Let's focus on the vision. Doesn't matter. I'm committed to it. We have people inside the organization that have been inside the organization that have served this organization. Let's allow them also to continue to serve the organization. There are candidates who have been here, who have slogged, who have worked in government, who have worked in different places. Let's give them an opportunity. This is an important position in the organization. So let's allow ourselves the space for the delegates who are astute enough to see the motives of each of the candidates and the future of the party they'd like to see.
Okay, we have seen like a lot of division within the party now, that we've seen a lot of division within the party. Do you think returning for Hellen Zille's return will also make even more of the drift that we've seen within the DA?
It's up to whether they'll have support or not. Remember, when you run a political organization, you are focused on the future, focused on jobs, focused on justice. There'll be people who will oppose you. If those people want to oppose you, the best place for people to oppose is at a Congress where they can put their ideas forward. As I did my idea of bringing diversity as part of the infrastructure of the DA, there were certain people who opposed that vision. They lost at Congress. Once you've lost that, as a good Democrat, you must support that vision after that, right? So let's allow the processes of the organization to go forward. Let the people vote and let the council pronounce itself, and let's go on the future of the organization. If it's a future, remember, I didn't join politics because I want a career in politics. I went into politics because I have a cause. I want to fight for all South Africans. I want to fight for jobs. And if whatever the vehicle is, I will continue to pursue that vision no matter what. It doesn't matter what happens in the DA, outside the DA. It's what South Africans want, and it's what South Africans want us to fight for. That's what we'll continue to do. That's the focus.
Ndati, just talk to us about your relationship with Hellen Zille. Are you talking to Hellen Zille, and have you talked to Hellen Zille? And how's the relationship? Have you talked to Hellen Zille? And how's the relationship right now with you and Hellen Zille?
I have not spoken to Hellen Zille. When she was Premier of the Western Cape, it was important that we sat in forums where she came to account on the performance of government. Nothing is wrong with that. It's common cause. And therefore, ultimately, subsequent to that, when she left to go to the IRR, we didn't speak because she went and worked in a different organization. I haven't needed to speak to her. She hasn't needed to speak to me. So that's the status of the relationship. That's the issue. So I don't think we should make much about that. The relationship is irrelevant. What's important to note is that where there are structures of accountability, do they work? Do the institutions of the organization work? And are we as a party going out to engage communities? That's the focus. So I haven't needed to speak to her.
Okay, now that the party also found you that there was no wrongdoing, especially when it comes to the car and all those situations that have been going on this week, do you feel a little bit relieved at this point that they found nothing wrong that you have done?
Absolutely, and I think that I'm glad that the party gave me a fair opportunity to present my case. The party then heard my case and concluded that there was no wrongdoing on my part. But as I always maintain, it was always a side issue. My focus was always on the organization and what we are doing, and we'll continue to do that. So it's not about, I'm glad that the pronouncement has been made, and I'm glad that people in the organization can know the facts and know the truth about this matter. And then what I'm moving on from here is continuing the work that I've been doing and implementing resolutions of the DA. And those who want to detract us, we will not be detracted by them. We will not surrender. We are focused on the future.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, that was Mmusi Maimane speaking to us about the current issues that has been happening here. He is going to continue with his door-to-door campaign here in Bethal because the candidates that they are supporting here is running for a very big municipality here. Rather, not a big municipality, rather a big ward here called Ward 28. So the door-to-door campaign will continue as he continues to go to do the door-to-door campaign. Blaine?
Yeah, Tumelo, thank you very much indeed for trying to get us some answers there. You know, just looking at Hellen Zille's conversation with Manelisi Dubase yesterday, and you were talking to Mr. Maimane about, what's the possibilities if Hellen Zille does get this position, and he doesn't want to, pronounce on her candidacy, saying that there are other candidates involved. But this is what Hellen Zille said yesterday, and she was talking about working with people in general, and she says she doesn't have to like people to work with them well. She says she just has to respect them and share their vision. So I guess it kind of gives you a sense of where she's going with this if she has to get that position. But we do appreciate your reporting there, Tumelo. Thank you very much indeed. Tumelo Machogo coming to us live from Mpumalanga.